Chapter 55, Descent into the Mirror Furnace Location, Infernal Depths, Mirror Furnace Realm Zone Traits, Key Amplification, Unstable, Memory Reflection High Thermal Pressure Ages Daiko, 16 Caro, 17 Zarek, 20 Current Power Levels Daiko, 30,000 Caro, 28,850 Zarek, 27,900 The spiral path into the Mirror Furnace was not made of stone or flame, but of reflected memory. Every surface, even the air itself, shimmered like glass. As the trio descended, flickers of their past decisions, doubts, and triumphs emerged in the reflections, Daiko sparring with phantom illusions of his former Earth life, Caro holding his wounded father's rifle as a child, and Zarek in a twisted lab, breaking free from the Majin tubes. They moved in silence, knowing this wasn't a trial of fists alone, it was a challenge of will. At the base of the path stood a towering gate of molten chrome, inscribed with an ancient symbol, Soul Mirror. A burning voice rang from beyond. Only those who withstand the fire of truth may pass. The gate split apart like cracking obsidian, revealing the Mirror Furnace, a vast, circular arena suspended above a lake of pure soulfire. The temperature spiked instantly, sweat beading on their brows. But the danger wasn't heat. From the far end, three figures emerged, mirror versions of the trio, identical in appearance but with twisted energies. Daiko's mirror, a warped form that had given in to unrestrained aggression, face constantly snarling. Caro's mirror, calculating and cold, eyes dead of empathy. Zarek's mirror, entirely unhinged, laughing with an echo that bent the air. The battle begins. The mirrors didn't wait. Mirror Daiko blitzed forward, fists ablaze with red-tinted surge ki, clashing against Daiko's own primal surge. The arena cracked beneath them. Every punch Daiko landed was returned twice as hard. The mirror was faster, but reckless. "I'm not the same scared soul you were born from," Daiko growled, eyes locking into a sharp focus. He dropped low, feinted a blast, and nailed his mirror with a point-blank echo barrage after images crashing into its form like a stampede. Caro faced his mirror with cold tension. The clone activated a twisted precision zone, mirroring his technique and forcing Caro to dodge within a narrow predictive arc. Caro gritted his teeth, unleashing his energy lattice net, trying to trap the mirror clone mid-shift. The arena around them bent with green crystal energy, locked in a tactical deathmatch where each move had to be countered perfectly. The mirrored version fired compressed sniper keybursts, barely missing vital points. "You lack compassion," Caro said, hurling a final counterstrike that reflected the green lattice off the mirrored walls. The attack hit from behind, dispersing his twisted self in a flash of shattered glass. Meanwhile, Zarek was in chaos incarnate. "Dance with me," the mirror roared, splitting into three forms and warping around the chamber. Zarek grinned. Finally. Something fun. He activated Chaos Echo Step, matching the erratic teleportations. Every step he took layered chaos ki across the field. The real Zarek clapped his hands together and detonated a spiral bloom pulse, catching the three illusions in a dome of suppression. "You're just the part of me I've already beaten," he whispered before launching one final blow, an uppercut laced with harmonic distortion. All three mirrors shattered at once, the soulfire lake below them flaring. Aftermath. The gate behind them sealed. Before them, a new pillar rose from the molten soulfire. Atop it sat three small crystals. Furnace cores, glowing with resonant color, silver for Daiko, green for Caro, violet black for Zarek. Each of them stepped forward, placing their hands over the cores. Instantly, they felt a surge of stabilization, their bodies sinking with the spiritual strain of recent transformations. Skill and power level gains. Daiko Echo Barrage, plus 5%, now 18%. Primal Surge State, plus 4%, now 12%. Power level, plus 1,500 31,500 Caro Energy Lattice Net, plus 5%, now 20%. Precision Zone, plus 4%, now 14%. Power level. Plus 1,450 30,300 Zarek Spiral Bloom Pulse, plus 5%, now 22%. Chaos Echo Step, plus 4%, now 15%. Power level, plus 1,429,300 Daiko exhaled, sweat glistening down his forehead. That was more than a fight, it was like purging a sickness. Caro nodded. "It makes sense." That's what the furnace does. Burn away impurity. Zarek looked over the lake one last time, watching a ripple of his younger self fade beneath the fire. Let's keep moving, he muttered. We're not done yet. Ahead, another spiral staircase rose from the furnace edge, this one darker, made of cracked obsidian. Their journey wasn't ascending yet. It was still descending, deeper into whatever was waiting below. Chapter 56, The Godless Gate Location, Nether Core Spiral, Gate of No Patron Zone Traits. Divine Suppression Field, Key Obfuscation, Ethereal Instability, Ages Daiko, 16 Caro, 17 Zarek, 20 Current Power Levels Daiko, 31,500 Caro, 30,300 Zarek, 29,300. The stairway twisted into the void like the spine of a forgotten titan. With each step, gravity seemed to shift, sometimes pushing sideways, sometimes pulling them upward in spirals that made their heads spin. This isn't just an entrance, Caro muttered. It's a test of faith. Or the lack of it, Zarek grunted. You feel that pressure? Daiko did. It wasn't ki, it was the absence of something higher. As if the realm itself rejected the idea of divine order. No kais, no gods, no celestial laws. Just silence. Eventually, they reached the final threshold, an obsidian archway covered in glyphs that pulsed red and gold. In its center, an inscription written in ancient Scion script, only those who forge strength in absence may proceed. The godless gate stood quiet, then opened without resistance. Realm of the Forgotten Pantheon. Inside was a vast coliseum, black and gray, ringed with statues of gods turned to stone. Some of them bore resemblance to Kais, Namekian sages, even the faint silhouette of a celestial dragon, all shattered, frozen mid-scream. The moment they stepped forward, the energy of the realm shifted. Shadows from the statues peeled off, taking form. 3 towering, distorted figures appeared. 1. Tyrvault, the Broken Kai, a massive humanoid with half a face and ruptured divine halo, leaking decayed ki. 2. Omukin, the hollow aspect, a floating, serpentine beast with no eyes and a mouth stitched shut by ghostly chains. 3. Scale, the once godling flame, a bipedal beast made entirely of dying fire, every movement trailing embers of lost belief. These things, they were gods once, Daiko whispered. Not anymore, Caro said. Now they're just echoes. Abandoned echoes. Combat initiation. The trio separated, each drawn toward a different foe by the magnetic pull of combat aura. Daiko versus Scale. The flaming titan launched burning waves of emotion, despair, rage, betrayal. Daiko activated Primal Surge, powering up as heat licked his skin. His hair spiked slightly with red-tinted force as he zipped around Scale's massive swings. He timed his counters with precision, forcing key surges through his fists, clashing mid-air with thunderous shockwaves. But it wasn't enough. Scale collapsed into ash, then reformed, stronger. You can't destroy what's already dead. Daiko snarled and activated his mirrored surge technique, multiplying his ki output like a controlled kaioken. Muscles strained. Energy cracked the ground beneath. Then I'll burn brighter than you ever did. With a rising uppercut infused with mirrored ki and a vortex spin, he struck through the godling's core. Flames dispersed like weeping ash. Caro versus Omukin. Caro was nearly paralyzed by the psychic presence of Omukin. It didn't fight with physical force, but with hallucinations showing Caro dead, Daiko consumed, Zarek broken. Caro grounded himself, snapping into precision zone, his ki threads anchoring him in reality. He hurled condensed lattice spheres, trying to pin the beast's movements. The serpent dodged through planes of falsehood. Every strike Caro landed vanished like smoke. Frustrated, Caro recalled Daiko's words. Then I'll burn brighter than you ever did. He charged all of his ki into a compressed lattice field, saturating the zone around them, forcing truth. The chains around Omukin shattered. It screamed, not with pain, but with clarity, before dissipating like a freed prisoner. Zarek versus Tyrvault. Zarek stared down the god with no halo and a broken face. Their fight was a pure brawl. No tricks. Just raw destruction. Tyrvault swung a shattered mace of condensed divinity. Zarek dodged with Chaos Echo Step, unleashing counterpulses. But every strike chipped away at his body. Divine remnants were poison to his Magian side. Bleeding, shaking, he laughed. You think that hurts me? He formed a chaos spiral lance, channeling all his kinetic power, and dove forward like a missile. His body impacted Tyrvalt's chest with such force it imploded, then reformed in reverse, crushing itself inward. The echo dissolved. No scream. No final flare. Aftermath. The Colosseum dimmed. The statues faded, no longer frozen, but peacefully crumbling. In the center of the arena, a staircase emerged, not downward, but up. Coated in violet flame and lined with scion inscriptions. You have passed through where gods dare not tread. You are no longer souls of chance. You are destiny-bound. They stepped forward, one after another. Skill and power level gains. Daiko Mirrored Surge, plus 8%, now 18%. Echo Barrage, plus 4%, now 22%. Power level. Plus 2,534,000 Caro Precision Zone, plus 5%, now 19%. Energy Lattice Net, plus 4%, now 24%. Power level, plus 2,432,700 Zarek Chaos Spiral Lance, plus 8%, now 21%. Chaos Echo Step, plus 5%, now 20%. Power level, plus 2,231,500. As they ascended into violet flame, the underworld below seemed further away than ever. They were no longer just trying to escape it. They were rising above it. Chapter 57, Rise to the Surface. Flame Location, Ascension Spire, Final Underworld Vein Zone Traits. Dimensional Breach Instability, Eternal Heat Pulse, Key Saturation. Max Threshold Ages. Daiko, 16 Caro, 17 Zarek, 20 Current Power Levels. Daiko, 34,000 Caro, 32,700 Zarek, 31,500. The violet staircase coiled endlessly upward. The higher they climbed, the more they could feel the pressure of the underworld easing and the weight of the mortal realm pulling at their souls like a tide breaking through a dam. Each step triggered a reaction in their ki, burning hotter, heavier, evolving. The very air shifted with energy they had never felt before. This was not simply an exit, it was a rebirth. As they neared the top, the sky above them cracked, not like glass, but like a wound tearing open. Golden light poured in through the rupture, swirling with fragments of memory, war, and cosmic fire. A gate stood at the summit, unlike any other. Not forged of stone or fire, but composed of pure stabilized ki, wrapped in time-worn sigils. And in front of it stood a lone figure. Tall. Wrapped in a mantle of scorched feathers. His hair silver-white and spiked, with red tribal scars running down both arms. So you've survived the Godless Gate, impressive. That's something not even echoes dare whisper. He opened his eyes. They weren't normal eyes, they were layered with galaxies. I am Kalen, once a guardian of the realms between. Now, I am the sealkeeper of the final vein. If you wish to rise, prove to me your evolution wasn't a gift of chance, but of purpose. He extended his hand, and time twisted. Trial of Kalen, beyond linear combat. The world around them warped. The air shimmered like water, and each of the three found themselves fighting alternate versions of themselves, echoes of what they could have been. Daiko versus Daiko, the tyrant flame. This Daiko had ascended without restraint, taking power from every foe, crushing them without mercy. He had reached Super Scion, but hollow. He grinned wickedly, flaring golden, power level, 300,000. You think purpose matters? Power is purpose. The fight shattered mountains within the trial space. Daiko, driven to his edge, had to combine everything: mirrored surge, echo barrage, and precision counters from Caro's past training sessions. He wasn't stronger. But he was smarter. He allowed his tyrant self to punch through a created feint and redirected his own ki wave behind the opening. Tyrant Daiko dissolved in golden static. I'm not meant to dominate. I'm meant to rise. Caro versus Caro, the forgotten flame. His double was silent. Distant. Alone. A warrior who never found Daiko or Zarek. Who ascended through hatred and isolation. Every movement was perfect, clinical. His precision zone was nearly flawless. Karo faltered. He had always relied on emotion, on connection. But as his mirror version tried to finish the fight with a lattice knife to the throat, Karo whispered, "I'm not afraid to feel." He shattered the lattice in a backlash pulse of empathy-charged ki, realigning his aura with Daiko's frequency. The echo dissipated, undone by what it lacked. Zarek versus Zarek, the hollow chaos. The echo of Zarek had become a pure Magian entity, unrecognizable. A swirling vortex of chaos and sadness. It didn't speak. It only devoured. Zarek, bloodied, stood tall. "You represent what happens if I never found a reason to stop destroying." He threw himself into the void, not to win, but to anchor. By accepting his own chaos, he became more than his Magian lineage. His aura erupted in both black and blue, the mark of balance. The final seal opens. Kalen watched in silence. Then he knelt, placing a single palm to the gate. "You've done what none before you could, you've remained whole." The gate unraveled like a scroll of light, and for the first time since their deaths, the trio felt a true breeze. A breeze from the living world. "Go," Kalen said. "There are flames in the sky that have forgotten your name. Remind them." As they stepped into the light, their forms began to change. Their bodies adjusted, stabilized, reshaped into mortal vessels, though their power remained very much underworld-born. Skill and power level gains. Daiko Echo Barrage, plus 5%, now 27%. Mirrored Surge, plus 4%, now 22%. Power level, plus 2000 36,000. Karo Precision Zone, plus 5%, now 24%. Lattice Shard Overload, unlocked, beginner, 0%. Power level, plus 2,134,800. Zarek Chaos Echo Step, plus 4%, now 24%. Internal Stability Control, unlocked, beginner, 0%. Power level, plus 2,233,700. The gate behind them sealed forever. What lay ahead was a rebirth, and a world that hadn't seen scions like them in generations. Chapter 57.5, Embers of Time. Location, Infernal Sanctum, Upper Flame. Lattice time passed in Underworld, 11 years since arrival. Current ages: Daiko, 17 Karo, 18 Zarek, 21 Environment effect, Soul Tethered Key Condensation Accelerated, x1. 25 XP multiplier for all training within the lattice. The Underworld didn't track time the way the living world did, but within the realm's chronologues anchored by echo crystals and life force distortions, the three had pieced together a brutal truth: they had been in the Underworld for 11 years. 11 years since Daiko first opened his eyes in a child's body. 11 years since Karo emerged from shadow and flame with a Cyrielian's rage in his blood. 11 years since Zarek stepped between them, a fractured hybrid seeking meaning. Each year in the Underworld aged more than flesh. It wore down spirit, carved intention, and tempered power into something more refined than raw strength. Sanctum of the Ember Vein, training grounds. Their current base was a shattered temple in the sky, suspended over a river of soulfire and forgotten memories. This sanctum had been dormant until they unearthed its purpose. A spiritual forge designed to attune inner ki through synchronization combat. The three trained here daily, not as rivals, but as a trio of resonance. Tri-combat session, day 4032. Drill type, rotational pressure shift parameters, 3-minute intervals, forced combat state with power limiters removed. Result: measured growth based on willpower alignment, key harmonization, and transformation reflex. Daiko charged forward first, his movements a blend of instinctual scion aggression and deliberate underworld finesse. His strikes pulsed with controlled surges, as if channeling a form just beneath his limits. Karo met him head-on, his precision uncanny. He could read the microshifts in Daiko's stance like text, deflecting, countering, then retaliating with threaded lattice pulses. Zarek joined from above, spiraling down in his self-developed chaos feint step, releasing bursts of kinetic ki distortion that scattered even Karo's tracking. The session ended with all three flat on their backs, sweat pouring, but their eyes shining. They weren't children anymore. They were warriors honed by isolation. Moments of reflection. That night by the fire, Daiko stared upward. There was no true sky, just the crackling ceiling of the Ember Vein. But in his mind, he imagined stars. Planets. The wind on another world. You guys ever think about what we'll find up there? he asked softly. Sometimes, Carol replied. But I think more about what they'll find when we arrive. Zarak chuckled. Probably panic. Daiko turned serious. We've been down here too long. I want to make sure our time meant something. Carol placed a hand on his shoulder. It already does. We become more than we ever could have up there. Zarak grinned. And we're not done yet. They nodded in unison, no words needed. Skill progress summary Daiko key surge control, plus 6%, now 28%. Flame pressure movement, plus 3%, now 13%. Power level increase, plus 1,237,200 Carol lattice shard overload, plus 5%, now 5%. Echo lock counter, unlocked, beginner, 0%. Power level increase, plus 1,336,100 Zarak Chaos Echo Step, plus 5%, now 29%. Majin Aura Anchoring, plus 4%, now 12%. Power level increase. Plus 1,435,100. They weren't the same scions who'd once wandered the ruins of hell looking for meaning. Now, they were meaning forged in motion, flames of purpose, rebirth, and future reckoning.